This is the Wuben G5, an unusual compact EDC flashlight, not just because of the way it looks, but because you can turn the emitter head a full 180 degrees, and it outputs over 400 lumens in the full range of RGB colors. We're going to be testing it today, and if you find this video to be informative, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. So, let's get started. Let me start with a quick unboxing, and then let's just see the contents of the box. This is the Wuben G5. It is very compact and very unique shaped and functioning EDC light. How compact? Well, it is only about 2.5 inches tall, about 1.5 inches wide, and only about 1/2 inch thick, and it is in form factor about the size of a Zippo lighter, which I know for those of you who are younger than Gen X may not even know what a Zippo lighter is, but it has some very unique features, starting with the fact that because of its square rectangular shape, it pretty much lays flat anywhere, and of course it can tail stand, and the base is magnetic, so you can attach this onto a hood and use it as a work lamp. But here's the thing, the head turns, so it really is a very functional work light because you can aim your beam pretty much in so many different directions. Also, it does have a clip here, not quite long enough to be a belt clip in my opinion, but if you pull it out, you can rotate it just like the head, and it gives you a lot of options as to where you can clip on your light, either into a pocket, to a backpack strap, or really any gear strap. So it gives you a lot of options, and if you place it onto its side and you can put this onto your hat brim, it becomes a really super functional headlamp because you can change the direction of your beam. And one of the things I really do like is the fact that it has analog controls. And you can see here, it has a switch, and all the way to the top, you expose a USB-C port. That's your charging mode, or at least charging position of your switch. All the way to the bottom puts it in lockout mode, and there's a button for your main function and activating button. That's totally locked out. If you place it in the middle, there you go. I really do like analog switches, and it also has a dial here to change your brightness. And that's all the way at the bottom. It blinked, and you can bring it all the way to the top, and it blinked again when you reach your maximum brightness. It does have mode memory as well. Turn it off, turn it back on, remembers which mode you have it, and when you have it on and you double tap, you go into turbo mode. And again, when you turn it back on, it remembers which last setting you had it. Also, interestingly, if you keep it pressed, it switches into RGB mode, and the dial now changes the color, which is kind of cool, but I'm not quite sure why you'd want all the different colors. I can totally understand why you want red. It helps preserve your night light sensitivity at night, your night vision, and I can understand why you'd want it in blue mode because that gets into the ultraviolet, and you can use this as a counterfeit or bug detector if you're looking for bed bugs in your hotel room. And green, I suppose, if you are a hunter, to help you find blood trails. But yeah, I don't know what the other light modes are for other than as a cool little party trick. But still, it's useful that they have that on there. And again, it remembers which mode you last had it on, and just keep it a long press to switch it back to white light mode. So yeah, overall, lots of cool little features here. Let's get this fully charged up, and we'll get started testing this next. I fully recharged the flashlight overnight, and though this is showing red, it was blue just a few seconds ago when I tested the unit to make sure it was functioning. And I'm setting it on its brightest light mode, and though this is not a NASA-designed scientific instrument, I have calibrated the equipment to a known 100 lumen light source. So let's just call it 13800 lux here, and based on my calculations, I'm getting round about 550 lumens, which is more than the 400 lumens that the manufacturer claims. This is the G5 in its low mode, and you can see it does have a hot spot about 6 feet wide at this point, and it goes gradually into the spill, but it's a pretty wide, floody kind of beam. Now I'm going to slowly bring this up in brightness with a dial, about halfway at this point. And that is the maximum. You saw that little blink there, that's your indicator that you've reached either the high or the lowest point on this analog adjustment wheel. Here we have the Wuben G5, and we have it in its highest power mode. And I can also adjust this down to its low power mode. It's pretty much candlelight or moonlight bright. And back up to its maximum brightness mode. And even though the overall beam is kind of floody, it can easily throw out to that telephone pole 120 feet away. I recharged the flashlight, and we're going to see how long it'll run with a fully charged battery, starting in its highest brightness mode. But don't worry, we're not going to have to sit here for hours or however long it's going to take. I've set the camera on time-lapse mode. So, how long do you think it'll run? 30 minutes? 60 minutes? 100 minutes? Leave a comment right now with your best guess, and we'll find out together how accurate your guess was. Well, there's 30 minutes right there, so anybody who guessed 30 minutes, well, it's still going. And it surprisingly hasn't gotten any dimmer yet. And for those of you who think this is a fake time-lapse, I'd like to point out the ants on the bench there that are moving at high speed. Okay, there's 60 minutes, and it's still going, and it still looks remarkably bright. So who out there thinks this will go up to 100 minutes? Nope, it didn't. It stopped at about 77 minutes, which is actually over 10 minutes longer than the G5 specs claim for its runtime, so this is pretty good. A 1 meter drop is an industry standard product test, so we're going to use this 3-foot wall and drop it onto concrete and see if anything broke. And it seems to be fully functional, so it passed my test. The G5 is IPX68 rated, which means it can survive being fully immersed in water, as well as high-pressure water jets. Well, we're going to test it with this high-pressure water jet and see if it survives. All right, it's still on, and we're going to see if it'll switch over to RGB mode, and it did. So it passed, until it didn't. About an hour later, I noticed moisture inside of the lens, and the unit turned on in blue mode and wouldn't turn off until the battery died, and it wouldn't recharge. So no, it didn't quite pass my high-pressure water jet test. Hey, just as a reminder, don't forget to hit that like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell buttons right now before this video ends. And as an extra incentive, well, if you're a subscriber to this channel, well, you're eligible to enter the contest. Every month I give away one of the products that I review, and it could very well be this Wuben G5. And the reason I say may is because, well, I'd like to thank Wuben for sending out this G5 for me to test, but they may not necessarily be pleased with how the tests turned out, specifically in the waterproof section. Now, they do say that this is IPX6 rated, which means that it can survive rain and high pressure water jets, but maybe not a pressure washer that I tested it with, so that may be the issue with that. But I did end up getting some water in here, and after about a day, well, it stopped charging and it stopped turning on. So yeah, don't hit it with a power washer is what I'm trying to say here. But overall, I do like this little EDC light. It's very compact, relatively lightweight, well constructed, and I do like the features, the fact that it's got a head that changes direction, and also I like the fact that it has analog controls. I do like them for their ergonomics, though I did find this analog switch to be just a little too easy to switch. Potentially you could accidentally knock this out of the lockout mode. I don't know. I didn't necessarily have a specific problem with that, but makes me suspect that that could be an issue. If you have one, have had some time to live with it, and have some feedback on that, please let me know in the comments if you've had any issues with the switch or any of the analog controls. The other thing I'd like to ask, I really do like the fact that this has an RGB mode, because you could switch it to red light mode, which helps preserve your night vision, and of course the blue/UV light helps you find things in the dark, but I'm not sure what the other colors might be useful for. If you have found a use for them, please let me know in the comment section. But if you're interested in picking one of these up, I think that they're really a good value. With a price point of about $20, $25 that I've found online. You can find more details about where you can find it online in my full written review at moondogindustries.com, and you'll find a link to that. You'll find links in the video description, along with any coupon codes that I happen to run across. I'll put that up on there, and let me know in the comments if any of them, those discount codes have become out of date or whatever, and I'll update that. So thanks for doing that, and thanks for taking the time to watch this video. God bless. Moondog out. Hey, I'd like to know what you thought of this video. Leave me a comment or chat with me on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, MeWe, Instagram, or Locals. And if you want to see all of my videos, go to moondogindustries.com.